is a video to demonstrate how to use Ableton in the KXC context. This is not a video explaining how to put together an Ableton project. This is a video to explain how to use a project that's already been created for you on a Sunday or at a service. So you'll be given this laptop or a similar laptop, and you'll be given the kind of login details to get into the actual laptop. And on the desktop, it should be plain except for clearly labelled Ableton project that we can see here on the right. So double click on this, and inside there will be another project of a similar name, and it should all be clearly labelled. So for the Sunday that I'm using as an example, this is when Amy Dolly's leading, so I've called it Amy Set KXC. This is a demo project that I will come back to in a sec. This won't be here, only this Amy Set KXC will be here. So we double click on this to open up Ableton. Now you may need to be connected to the internet in order to successfully open Ableton, so just make sure the laptop's connected to the Wi-Fi at King's House or wherever the venue is, and it will open up the screen. It should look a little bit like this. If for any reason you have a display that looks like this, which it's kind of got it looks slightly different, then you can press tab and that toggles between the two views. So I press tab, and this is the what's called the session view, and this is what we use on Sundays. So on the right in this column labelled master is the set of songs. Now in this set there's only 2 songs, but often maybe you'd have detailed all of the songs that you're using that day. Okay, so we've just got Light of Peace and All Things New. Each of these is labelled with the key, so this is an E major, and also the BPM. Particularly the BPM, it's really important that that is labelled correctly, so just make sure that that's there. What happens is, on each of these rows, corresponding to the song, so for the Light of Peace row, is all of the audio files that we are going to play when we play this song. And quite simply, if I come to this master column and press on the blue triangle here, it will launch all of the pieces of audio that are on that row. So when I press Light of Peace, all of these items will play. Now, you can obviously hear some of those. You can hear piano, and on the piano track, if I just highlight that, you can see that there's some audio playing, and down below, now that I've clicked on the piano, or you can double click on the piano file, you can see the actual audio. You don't really need that, but it's just so you get an understanding of what's going on. Now I'll hit spacebar to stop. So if you ever need to stop the whole thing, just hit spacebar. Okay, and remember to start everything from the start, you just press that triangle and it will go all over again. So we'll hear the piano. There we go. Okay, I am going to just navigate out of this project and go into that demo project just to show you something. But before I do that, there's one really important thing that you need to do before you're ready to go. You have to tell Ableton which sound device to send stuff to. Okay, so at the moment we heard that audio playing out of my computer speakers. Obviously in a service you don't want that to happen. You want it to go not just through your computer speakers. Obviously it needs to go into the sound desk, etc. So if you go into preferences, so you can navigate to go into live and preferences. This is just a really important bit. We go into audio, and we have to choose the correct audio output device. So at the moment it says my built-in output, which is my computer speakers. Here you need to select the, it will be a Behringer, I think it's called a UMC 18 or something like that. So you've got to select that. Okay, so make sure you select the Behringer UMC, and that's all you need to do. Okay, And then the final thing I'll show you before we go into the demo project is once you've done that, this should already all be set up for you, but on each of these tracks, so we've got a click track, a cue track, piano track, etc. They will each have a little drop-down menu which says Audio 2, and this is the space where we tell the Ableton which channel we want to send the click to. So I want click. We obviously don't want them all in the same channel. We want, for example, the click and the piano. We don't want them to be in the same channel because for example, the congregation will want to hear the piano out the front, but they don't want to hear the click mixed in with that. They need to be separated. So this is where we control where they go to. So on the click channel, this first track, Audio 2, it needs to be selected on external out, and then underneath there's the selection of which channel. Now this is currently set to 7, okay? And like I say, this should already be set out for you, but it's again just so you know what's going on, so if anything goes wrong. So this is click's going to channel 7, the cues, as you can see, are going to channel 8. Audio 2, these are piano selected to master, which basically is just the same as saying 1 and 2, okay? Because if I go to my master column here, there's kind of like a default master out. It's like a code name for 1 and 2, okay? And I could change that, but let's leave that as. So anything that says master just means 1 and 2. So all of these, piano is going to 1 and 2, swells are going to 1 and 2, etc., etc. Let's scroll down here. This Vox channels and this gang channel, they've been set to channels 3 and 4, 3 and 4. Guitars are going to channel 5, and bass is going to channel 6. Okay, great. So I'm now going to take us into the demo project just so I can show something. You wouldn't have this demo project, but I want to show you something for the purposes of this video. So I'm just going to open this demo project. So again, remember, the first thing you do when Ableton opens up, oh fantastic, it's just verifying. The first thing we'll do when we open up this Ableton project is to make sure we've set the correct audio output. Okay, so we don't want the audio just coming out of the computer speakers. We want the audio to be sent to our sound card and then sent into the sound desk. So once this is verified, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, the first thing we do is go into Preferences, Audio, and for this demo, so you would choose the UMC, the Behringer sound card or whatever interface you're using, but for this video I'm going to use my built-in speakers just so you can hear it. Okay, so we come out of that. Now what I've done that's different to the main project that we're just looking at is I've actually set all of these outputs to master. Okay, just so that we can hear them all. So now I'm going to hit play on the live piece.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And as you could hear, all of these different audio files are triggering, including the click and the cue, which you were able to hear then. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is keys. Okay, so the key signature of these songs. We are able in Ableton to change these key signatures. So we can transpose the tracks up and down. And we're also able to change the tempo. So for this purpose, let's go into All Things New, because this is originally, or as this title says, All Thines New, was originally in C major, and I've changed this to F sharp major. So let's have a listen to what it sounds like.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
So as you might think, it sounds a bit peculiar, but it's probably just about okay. We've transferred it up 6 tones, the tritone, 6 semitones, sorry, the tritone. So how do I transpose stuff? Well, in an individual audio clip, so like this synths one, I double click on it, And down in this box here at the bottom of the screen, there's a transpose wheel. Okay, so I'm just going to solo this, so pressing the solo button, and I'm just going to change this transpose to just 0 ST, 0 semitones. So this is the original. And now I'm going to transpose this up 6 semitones. And that's how it sounds now. Okay? And what you'll see is for all of these tracks, I've done the same. So BVs, in fact, BVs were transferred down 6 semitones, which is the same thing. Guitars, they've been transferred up 6 semitones. So bass, also up 6 semitones. Okay? And the key thing here is, I'm explaining this because sometimes on the fly you might need to change keys. So let's think about the BVs. I've transferred these down 6 semitones, right? Let's have a little listen to how these BVs sound.
Make all things new. You finish what you started.
Now the key thing with BVs is that this sub menu here that says currently says Pro, this is the type of transposition, and this is really important that for vocals especially it's set on Complex Pro. If I set this to, for example, Complex, you'll hear it sounds very different. So that's Complex, this is Complex Pro. Complex Pro sounds a lot better. Complex sounds like a giant, right? So we need to make sure the vocals are set on Complex Pro. And as a general rules, I set synths onto sometimes on Complex, sometimes on Texture. You have to kind of try. Complex is fairly safe. I think for this actually, Texture is going to be better. So I'm going to set my 2 synths to Texture, and let's have a little listen to these synths now. So they sound good. So just as a recap, this sub menu of choosing Texture or Complex Pro, this is only for use when we're transposing. Okay, so if the clips haven't been transposed, you don't need to worry about this at all. It's only if we want to change the key. And remember, you can multi-select all the clips. So from synths, I go along to the end, hold down Shift, and I've selected all of them, and I can transpose them all in one go if I need to. So that's transposing. So it's a bit of a complex subject, but it's just good to have a basic overview of that. And then finally, let's just talk about changing the tempo, which is also something that might need to happen on the fly. Now, this is one of the most powerful things in Ableton. It happens very efficiently. So let's, again, stick on All Things New. And the way to change the tempo of this track is simply by changing this 76 BPM note here in the master track. Okay. So to change this title, I select it and hold down Apple key R, and then I can literally just change this number. So let's say we want to do drastic change. Change it to 96 BPM, and you'll be able to hear this. Hit enter, and now when I hit play again, it will have automatically changed all of the tempos. Here we go. Oh, I've got my solo on. I need to unsolo those, and let's try that again.
Intro 2, 3, 4. Intro 2.
Ah, something is going wrong here. Let's try that again.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
Now, obviously, you wouldn't play this song at that speed unless you were an absolute mad hatter. However, it's very useful to be able to change or slightly tweak tempos for different moments. Okay, so sometimes the worship leader just wants a bit more energy, wants a couple of BPM up or whatever. So that's it. Hopefully, I've explained perhaps not particularly clearly, but hopefully the information is in there. If there are any gaping holes, I'll make some additions at the end of this video. But otherwise, hopefully that's enough for you to be getting on with. Good luck. Thank you very much for running Ableton for our services. Goodbye.